Alright, fuckers, welcome back to Practicing Challenge 52. Athoro is my god, right? Who am I? I'm Viggy. This channel is a repository of my practice, right? To prove that anybody can learn to draw, especially you. I'm building irrefutable video evidence that anybody can learn the skill, right? I think I skipped a lot of steps here in this intro. But anyways, get your pen, get your paper, and draw along with me. Fuck, I swear I skipped some steps. Did I make the I didn't make the gluck 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 noise, right? I don't fucking know for a thorough. But yeah, we're doing challenge 52, right? By the way, I did not feel like drawing today whatsoever, right? I just woke up, it's been an hour, and I did not feel like drawing today at all. That was just the noise I make when I drink my coffee, right? But also incredible experience I had yesterday. I went to Fan Expo, right? Fan Expo, it's Canada's Comic Con, right? And yeah, please draw along. I'm already starting to think, right? I'm already starting to think, and that's exactly what I'm doing right now, is I'm visualizing the box. I'm thinking about the diagonal cross sections. I'm really trying to zoom out and see everything. And now I'm gonna start applying the lines, right? I'm gonna start applying the lines while not trying my best not to look at the lines, but still ensuring, and that's a fucking mediocre line. There you go, right? And while it's still ensuring that I can see all the diagonal cross sections, and it's incredibly difficult to think about all of that while I continue onwards, and this line is now diverging, right? And you can see how much work needs to be done in my lines in of itself, and like I'm really like right now I'm failing miserably. I'm genuinely failing miserably to zoom out and not look at the mark that I'm making, right? Because I am struggling quite a bit with visualizing the diagonal cross sections. But I went to Fan Expo yesterday, and I'm gonna be doing something very difficult, which is trying to fucking talk about something completely unrelated while also trying to visualize everything, right? And right now my brain is extremely taxed. I'm already like immediately I am actively forcing my working memory to keep in mind the speed of the line, right? The motor, the hand-eye coordination, the zooming out, the trying to calculate every single visible and invisible plane, trying to see the diagonal cross sections, and trying to also hold it all together while applying the line and not looking at the line. At the same time, now I'm trying to think about the ellipse, the center line, this center line, and then trying to make. Oh yeah, yeah. No, I do draw the ellipse. Right there you go. Yeah, I do draw the ellipse in this, and trying to make it all make sense in terms of like connecting through these center lines. And I know that shit, what I just said right there, is super fucking vague. What I'm trying to say, because I can barely think or explain while I'm thinking, is basically I'm trying to think about the box, visible and invisible planes, the diagonal cross sections, right? And I can only think about this front plane, this back plane, and then this front plane in terms of the diagonal cross sections. Like I can't visualize any of the other calculations. I can see them, but I can't visualize the cross sections within them. Now I'm actively trying to do that. But for this ellipse, what I meant is like there's the center line, there's this other center line, and then the ellipse is basically like the perfect curves that follow that center line, right? In perspective around here. And I'm trying to visualize that and calculate it while I'm doing it. And that's already very difficult. I'm already made beautiful mistakes while doing it, and I'm constantly trying to catch the error, right? Error recognition is like, when I say attach dopamine to errors, one thing I'd like to like clarify on, and it's probably the first time I've clarified, is like, it's about catching yourself making the errors. It's like, you notice the errors and you feel good about catching the error, right? You feel good about making the error, of course, but you also like associate dopamine with catching the error itself. And now that I've said that shit, and I'm also like actively trying to think about and because see, like this line is diverging and that line is diverging. So I'm also trying to actively, because I haven't done this in a very long time because the horizon line has been so intuitive, but I'm trying to actively think about the horizon line as well, right? And that's also beautifully difficult. So I'm going to do that here again, right? And okay, let's do this angle, right? And again, we're trying to maintain proportions here as well. And all these planes have to be perfect planes to a degree, right? Perfect planes, like square planes, right? And yeah, Fan Expo was fucking incredible. Like, dude, I talked to so many artists, and of course I did what I always do, which I just went to them and I was like, hey, this is what I'm learning. Like, do you have any feedback on it was mainly my imagination pieces. Anybody who was a mech artist, or I noticed that they had really good mech design languages and shapes, right? I would ask them for like how I could ideate and all that stuff, right? Because I have trouble coming up with yeah, like interesting ideas. I'll talk about not the negatives, but like the things that threw me off when I talk to them, right? And this is why you shouldn't go in with any expectations, because every single one of these artists, and I mean, like not every single one, but a lot of them were like, "What are you doing this for? What are you doing this for?" Because I keep thinking I'm a beginner, and now I'm starting to get advice or like questions on like, okay, almost like an intermediate level, right? And a lot of these were comic book artists. Like I talked to fucking Stephen Platt, right? I talked to Stephen Platt, the guy who did like Batman and Moon Knight. Was it Batman and Moon Knight? It might have been Batman and Moon Knight. But he's extremely fucking incredibly skilled artist, and he actually pointed out a huge flaw in my imagination drawings and like how they lack depth. So my Road to Kim Jong-gi series going forward is actually going to be not going to be me doing this. I'm going to finish this, of course, because I've already started. But after this, he basically said create like 2 to 3 like squares, right? Like basically thumbnails, and then draw the grid lines, like draw the horizon line, draw the grid lines, everything going to that, like create the perspective, and don't. He basically told me to not put all my cognitive energy on trying to visualize the grid while doing all of this, because he's like, you're already trying to think about lines, shapes, forms, gestures, trying to design interesting things, trying to place them realistically. So if you keep losing the horizon line and the grid lines, and that's fine and all, it's actually like making it harder for you. So he said expedite your process by doing these smaller thumbnails and just placing having the grid lines there, and then just figuring out, just trying to place as many forms in it that are realistic and scaled properly as you can. Do that 100 times, right? He didn't say that explicitly, but I said, okay, so just do the hundreds of times. And he's like, yes. He's like, that will be hyper transferable. He's like, don't waste time on this. And this is just like, again, like you can't take everything they say like, oh, this is the hardcore truth. But what he said was, don't waste time on these intense, large pieces, right? Like it'll be hyper transferable when you make these small thumbnails. So I'm definitely gonna be doing that, because that made complete sense to me. And all the other artists I told about who gave me about his advice that he gave me were like, yeah, that makes complete sense. So I'm like, okay, it's again, turn your brain off, don't listen to people. Like, advice is one of those things, right? Advice and feedback is like, it's difficult, because I talked to 11 artists or 12 artists, right? By the way, while I'm talking, I'm still trying to see the diagonal cross section, still trying to see the ellipses, and this is fucking beautiful and incredibly difficult for my brain, right? But it's like, you can't take advice from everyone, but at the same time, you have to use your own judgment to see what advice is relevant to you. And that advice was extremely relevant to me. And yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it hurt a little bit. It hurt a little bit, right? Because he's like, your shit's flat, right? He didn't say exactly like that, but he's like, this is very flat, right? But a lot of these artists, again, they're like, what are you doing this for? And they're all coming from their own mindset and their own profession, which is none of them, like apart from a couple, right? But very few of them could understand that I'm literally doing this for the love of the game, right? Like I could, and the thing is, they were all very positive. They're like, keep going, you're fucking like, you're doing well, you're practicing all the right things. But because I keep thinking I'm a beginner, I'm expecting to get, and that's another thing, like expectations are, but I'm expecting to get beginner level advice. But what I'm getting is like the fucking deep philosophical shit that I can't even consider right now, that I'm not considering, because they're like, what are you doing this for, man? Where's your creative voice, man? Like, one artist, like this woman, she literally told me that my shit looked soulless, and I was like, that kind of hurts. And then she's like, no, like it just looks like you're drawing to draw and to put shit there, rather than to what's it called, like to like it is, I don't see your own like interests in this, right? And I'm like, these are my interests. So she's like, okay, well, you're putting them in a way that like that you think what it should look like, rather than what you want to exaggerate. I'm like, fair enough, right? That makes sense. But, and again, these are all great feedbacks. Like, I have no ego about it, right? It's a lot of this shit threw me off, and it's probably because of expectations and shit, right? But at the same time, it also made me realize, like, nobody understands, not nobody, but like, I am alone in this. Like, when you're trying to be a fucking goat, right? But you're doing it purely because you're trying to be a fucking goat, and you don't have any other reason than trying to be the fucking goat. Like, my goal is literally, again, I'll say it again, to be an excellent pen and ink draftsman, right? And that's only dictated by the effort I put in, and I have no qualms about the effort, like about where I am, right? It's purely just reflective of the effort, the longevity of the effort, the duration, and the type of effort, right? And they seem to understand that and respect it, right? Which was nice, but it was just it really made me realize, like, when I say watch me become great, right? Like, it's for them and their lives, they've needed a reason for that. But for me, my reason is literally, again, for the love of the fucking game, right? Like, to do it because I simply want to become the greatest I can be. And there's no deeper reason beyond that. Yes, I want to create the Animorphs fan manga, right? But more than anything, I literally just want to push the potential of this mind, this one human mind, right? And it's inspired by Kim Jong-gi, right? It's heavily inspired by Kim Jong-gi. It's heavily inspired by to the extent of which him and people like him, right, have pushed their abilities, right? Like, TB Choi is an incredible example of that, right? Like, she is an incredible artist. I think she's an animator now, right? TB Choi, Sori Kim, I also like respected her a lot. Like, it's because of her that I started doing. I'm just name dropping the females, the female names, right? So if I'm only giving male names, people will be like, it's a sexist. But if I say female names, just give you a little couple breadcrumbs. You'd be like, oh, okay, he won your wash. No, but genuinely, like, Sori Kim, I even bought her a course on domestic. I never fucking used it because I was like, shit, this is way beyond my current ability. She's like talking about textures and lighting. She's like, just look at the lighting and do it. And I'm like, okay. Meanwhile, I'm still trying to figure out what the fuck a box looks like. But no, like, because of her what she said 3 years ago, now I'm rotating things while looking at them, and I'm using that as my primary practice on my YouTube posts, right? Like, if you see the posts. So And again, like I'm struggling a lot to see the diagonal cross sections and everything, but I'm fucking grinding my brain while I'm talking about this, right? And this is coming from right now a place where I didn't even want to draw, right? Like, and again, I'm just to hold all this perspective in my mind and also think about the diagonal cross sections has been incredibly difficult. This is pretty okay. I should have this curve is incorrect because obviously if I forced it to follow the edge, but if I didn't, it's actually going past. Like if I did it actually, that's supposed to be. But I'm gonna rest my brain now, right? And my proportions have been getting better. I've noticed that. Not incredibly, like not perfect, but they have been getting better, right? But TLDR as to what I'm trying to say. I know I'm all over the place right now. Like I genuinely know I'm all over the place right now, but I had a great experience talking to all these artists. The positives, and it was all positives, but like if I was gonna say objective positives, is they're all like keep fucking going, never stop, right? Like you're doing well. Like this is all the shit that you should be doing. One guy literally, his name was Colin. I forget his last name. It's the last person I talked to. He's like, bro, he's like, you're literally in the top 90%. You're doing because he's fucking teaches at like an animation college, right? Or like he has like a bunch of students or something. He teaches like for sure. And he's like 90% of people don't do this shit. He's like, you're in the top 90%. I'm like, how would you compare me to the 90%, right? He's like, you're there. He's like, you're fucking doing like you're literally training like someone to be a professional. I'm like, I'm training to have the professional skills, even if I'm not training to be in the professional industry, right? And I think that for people in the professional industry throws them off because again, like it's not as if that's rare. There's a lot of people who are becoming artists or building the skills and not looking to specifically enter, right? Some of them were like, oh, it looks like you're going to concept art, and like some of them were like, oh, it looks like you're going to like prop design and all that shit because I showed them my object deconstruction stuff, right? Like to give them a general idea of my spatial reasoning skills. And yeah, like vast majority of them, I could tell they were thrown off by because they kept asking, what are you doing this for? And I got a lot of good advice on how to generate creativity, right? Like I was actually struggling with this piece to like make shit. And then the woman who was like, well, just use your interest. And a lot of them, yeah, the woman who was like, you fucking, it looks like it has no soul. But she was just like, what's it called? And I don't know if I agree with that. I don't even know what that means, right? Like what the fuck? I'm not so like I don't think I'm like an artist in the sense where I'm like I speak from my balls, right? It's just like I really enjoy drawing. I just want to draw what I want to draw. I want to fucking push my limits, and I want to see where that takes me, right? And I'll find my voice along the way. And I told them that, right? But she said use your interests, and I completely agree with that because like I'm interested right now in architecture, vehicles, and all that shit, and like trying to have people interact with things, but I was trying to force a story. Even if I didn't want to, I guess, explicitly say it out loud to myself. Subconsciously, I was trying to force an expectation and a story onto that drawing, which is why I didn't enjoy the session, right? Looking back, it's not that I didn't enjoy it and I hated it, but I felt off about it. But I got great advice, but I could just tell vast majority of them did not understand that my why is like, yeah, the Animorphs fan manga like 40 years from now, right? But generally and genuinely, it's just because I'm fucking enamored by building the most top tier spatial reasoning engine, becoming the best pen and ink draftsman that I can be given the effort that I put in. And I obviously makes sense. They're filtering it all through their experience and their decades of experience and their lens of like trying to do it professionally and make money out of it. So when they see some random dickhead pull up and he's like, I'm doing it for the love of the game, they're like, what the fuck? That makes no sense to me. But it was a great experience. But yeah, positives were definitely, they were like, they all said, you're doing the right thing, keep going, this is fucking, like, this is good. Like, you're 100, like that guy who said I was in the top 90% or whatever, right? Or I guess top 10%, I don't know, it's an interesting way to phrase it. But he basically said, he literally said, the last thing he said to me, because I said, I thanked him again, right? And the last thing he said to me is like, I don't see, he's like, you keep going, he's like, I literally don't see a scenario, like, I would be very surprised if you don't make it in some regard, right? So I'm like, kami-sama, right? But it was a great experience. And it made me realize that not all feedback is relevant. It made me realize that again. But the main thing is like regarding the imagination drawings, I got the incredible feedback from Stephen Platt on how to actually add depth by doing this practice, like the thumbnailing practice, right? Which is like a hadoi, but the way he explained it made a lot of sense to me. So now I can do that now, right? And it's actually very similar to the Art Environment roadmap. One of the things that they do, so I'll probably follow their format, but it will be in the road to Kim Jong-il. So it's gonna be a bit displaced. It won't be part of the environment roadmap for a while, but it'll be part of the Kim Jong-il road series. And this is all just context before I fucking shut up and rest my brain, but right? And that's the main thing. And the other thing is like in terms of the ideation for these environmental drawings themselves is to what's it called? Like think about what I'm interested in, like kind of just like where I want things to go, like purely based on like I want to draw this or like I like this, rather than trying to force something, which again seems like right? Like yeah, do what you want to do and let your interest guide your skills, but at the same time, right? like I had like this technical side of me, and obviously the side of me that like inhibits me because it's like, oh, I want it to look nice. So there is that side of me, and I think we all have. I think people have that in general, right? But if you don't, that's amazing. Like, please let your interests guide you. So, and it's like I had that for many imagination drawings, but then for some reason, once I started up the Road to Kim Jong-il series again, and like even that recent mannequin drawing that I did, right, with all the fucking things around it, with the line work and all that shit, that was yeah, like that like was very blocked mentally. So it was like it was great. It was great. Let me rest my brain. I'll keep fucking talking about it, but I need to draw while I talk about it. Please rest your brain as well, yeah. All right, cool. But no, genuinely, Fan Expo was great. I just needed to verbalize everything I'm thinking, to be honest, because I was talking to my girlfriend about it, and I didn't even sleep that well because I was just thinking, I'm like, what's this feeling inside me, right? Something's about to happen, but I don't know what. But I was like, what is this feeling? Like, I was genuinely confused. I'm like, what's going on, right? Like, I had such a good time talking to all these people. Why is my mind fixating on possible negatives, right? And I think the plain answer for me was just the fact that like I needed to verbalize that I got very positive feedback. Like I got very positive feedback on the work I was doing. Like another guy, Johnny Ho, right? Like great artist. Like because when I say great artist, like I mean I just walked around in Artist Alley until I found people that I was like, oh wow, their art's amazing, and then I just went and talked to them. Like that was it. Like that was my threshold. I just went to them, I talked to them, I asked them about their story. Dude, everybody fucking started it. The one thing that like it's like it's just how it is, right? But the one thing that really tripped me up, not trip me up, but just maybe be like, damn, like I am an uncommon individual in that sense, is the fact that like, and this is why Antonio Stapirt is such a huge inspiration of mine, because everybody was like, I started drawing when I was 3, I started drawing when I was 4, I've been drawing my entire life, right? I fucking was born with a pen out of my ass. Like I was just like, what the fuck, right? And even Stephen Platt, like his whole thing was like he definitely thought I was trying to be a professional, so he's like, you need to catch up. So I'm really trying to give you this advice so you catch up, right? So everybody came from a good place. The only thing is like, yeah, nobody seemed to understand why I was going to this extent. Like Johnny Ho, the animator, right? He like when I showed him all my object deconstruction stuff, especially the most recent one that I've done as of like this time recording 2 days ago, which was like the forklift, right? He was just he like immediately pulled one of his students who was next to him. He's like, look at this is what you need to do, right? And she was like, oh my god. And she was just like I guess like they were like, I guess she was just rolled her eyes or whatever, but he was like, this is great, but then he went on some philosophical shit, right? And I don't mean that in a mean way. I just mean like he literally went all philosophy, and he was like, what are you creating for? What's it for? I can't tell you how to be creative, man. You got to be creative. And I'm just like, that's all fair, that's all well and true, but I'm like, bro, I just need like a system, or not even like need a system. I would definitely love some sort of sentence that's like, hey, keep this shit in mind, or like try to think about it this way. Instead, he's like, I can't tell you how to do it. You got to figure it out yourself, which is fair, which is 100% fair. Like that, and I am constantly trying to figure it out. But of course, at the end of the day, anything that expedites the process or even makes it slightly easier for me to internalize my process or figure out my process, like I am all for, right? And this is killing my brain right now. Like this, trying to see through the box and like through this obstruction of the box in front of it, and trying to visualize the diagonal cross sections. Like I am genuinely fucking. And this is beautiful, like this right here, voice crack. This right here, me noticing that I'm not attaching dopamine to my, or like that I'm making these mistakes is what I'm attaching dopamine to, right? And again, the line work being absolute ass is beautiful, right? Let's see. And what else? We got one more box. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, so we'll do another one. And again, constantly trying to think about the diagonal cross sections, right? Trying to think about different angles and all that shit. But yeah, even Johnny Ho was just like, bless me, what the fuck? Yeah, he said like the form deconstruction, my spatial reasoning stuff was great. And he's like, this is prop design. This is like, I could see, he's like, this is shit that they need. He's like, 20 years ago, this is how they did it. Like, keep doing this. But at the same time, him and many others simply could not understand that I was purely doing this for the love of the game. Right, like I was like, I don't know, like I said it as simple as I could, which is I'm trying to be the best pen and ink draftsman that I can be. The long-term goal is a manga, like a comic, right? But at the same time, right now it's just about building the skills and trying to create imaginative scenes, right? Which they all gave great advice for. And again, I'm trying to find patterns in the advice because I wrote down everything and I noted everything down that they all said. I have like 12 people I talked to, so 12 pieces of like chunks of notes, like just a couple sentences from them that I wrote. But And I'm trying to visualize this while I talk about this, which is extremely difficult, right? And okay, let's actually make this even larger, so we have some scale. Because obviously, I want to make these boxes start looking like be a bit larger. I want to really improve my understanding of scale, right? So this one goes all the way down here. That's pretty good. And then it comes out. Do I have fucking vocal fry? Why is my voice sounding like this, man? With a fucking cigarette voice. But the vocal fry is so disgusting, right? It's basically the like the like people fucking just talk like as if they perpetually have a fucking frog in their throat. It's absolutely gross. Actually, let's make this larger. Let's make this larger, just so like it's not tangent. It's not a tangent on that on this box right here, right? But yeah, either way, like it was great. I genuinely had a good time. And again, this is just me thinking out loud, trying to verbalize, trying to think about how like the actual experience was, right? I could barely think about the diagonal cross sections right now, but again, that's because I'm focusing on fucking trying to tell a goddamn story, right? But it was such a good experience, and I got really good advice. But at the same time, it made me realize that, damn, like, of course everything is contextualized in their own experience, but artists, at least the artists that I talked to, like, and this happened last year too, is like a lot of them simply could not understand that I was doing this because I love doing it, you know, and which shocked me, which genuinely shocked me, right? Like they like a lot of them seem to think or seem to believe that I needed to have like a reason, you know, and I have a reason, and I stated it multiple times, but I guess they just couldn't accept that reason, or they just didn't understand that reason, which is again for the love of the game. Like I'm just trying to be the best spatial reasoner that I can, the best draftsman that I can, the best understanding of form, everything that I can, right? And I'm really struggling to see through this box right now. Like I'm really struggling to ignore all these obstructions. Like Stephen Platt gave me good advice. Dude, I'm fucking struggling there. Okay, it's right around here. So that's the box. I'm trying to see the diagonal cross sections. So it's right here. There you go. There you go. I think it's right there. Right? I may have cut it off a little bit short, but yeah, it was definitely an interesting experience. It was great. Objectively, it was great. I got fucking amazing feedback, which I can use now. This is actually wrong. I'm pretty sure this is wrong. This is diverging, or something's happening here. Yeah, something's happening here. That's really hard to figure out. But yeah, I objectively got really good advice. Right? Okay, wait. That's I'm just trying to figure out like the orientation of this ellipse. Yeah, I objectively got really good advice, and I'm trying to think about the diagonal cross sections while I'll do this as well. But that's ass. Yeah, it was like I objectively got very good feedback, right? I'm obviously going to distill that feedback into 2 actionable steps, no more, no less, right? Maybe 3 max, but it's not going to be anything more than that, because I'm not going to fucking, like, there's no point of taking every single piece of feedback. Some of them were giving me advice about lighting, and I even told one of them, like, you can give me advice about lighting all you want. My brain is, like, again, they have crystallized procedural knowledge, right? They have years of experience of doing, you know? And so when one of them looks at my shit, they're like, oh, lighting needs to be good, or focus on composition and design. I'm like, you have, and it's okay, but they have no idea what it's like to be a beginner anymore. They have absolutely no idea, right? My girlfriend made a very good point, right? She was just like, that's why you need to also be around people that are similar to your skill level or slightly ahead. And again, not to shill Tieran's school community, right? Broken Draw's school community, but like that's why I joined it, because I'm like, this is not only going to hold me accountable, I'm going to be surrounded by people at varying skill levels who understand, right? Because they don't understand. Professionals, people who have 10, like the least amount of experience of the person I talked to had fucking 14 years of experience, right? Literally 10 years more than me, right? More than 10 years, like a bit over 10 years of experience over me, right? And like they all still considered me a beginner, which is amazing because that's exactly what I think. But at the same time, they considered my skills to be intermediate. Like they considered me to be in the beginning, but, and even Stephen Platt even said that too. He's like, you have to remember, we all have decades of experience, right? So like what we're saying may be difficult, or like maybe different than what, like or may not be completely relevant to what you're saying, or like what you want to hear, right? Well, that was a beautiful mistake, right? And that is like, I appreciated that. Like some of them were very aware, but this other guy, I forget his name, but he's actually my age. He's 28, and he's in the industry, and he's working for fucking comics and Marvel and DC and all that shit. It's amazing, right? But that's what I was telling him, right? And I think I overwhelmed him because I was just, I was like literally just fucking talking like an autist to all of them, because I literally can't talk about art to anybody. Like literally I can't talk about art to anybody. Nobody understands any of this. My dad thinks it's a fucking worthless skill. My mom doesn't understand it. My sister thinks everything I do is amazing, and my girlfriend doesn't understand it, but she tries to understand, which I really, really appreciate, right? But nobody, and stop me if you fucking feel this, right? Like, nobody in my life really understands the extent of which I practice and love art, right? Oh, that was a beautiful mistake. Especially if you're actually fucking obsessed with the fundamentals and learning to draw and like becoming a good draftsman, right? Because artists themselves, there's like, how many artists do we know that actually don't even have that sort of mindset, right? Which is why I really appreciate Colin saying, he's like, yo, you're doing all the right things, right? Because like I was, at the very least, I was appreciative that they seem to understand that I was building skills, and I think that's why I got a lot of the advice that I did, because they're trying to stop me or prevent me from falling into an intermediate trap or making mistakes. They're really trying to, like, I genuinely think all of it came from a good place, right? Which was the fact that perhaps it's most likely, actually, I'm not a beginner anymore, right? So they saw someone with perhaps the potential isn't the right word, but like someone on the path, and they're like, okay, let's like give him this advice so it's not like it doesn't deter or become a roadblock in his path, right? And that I 100% appreciate to the utmost degree, right? I don't even know if that sentence makes sense, but I do 100% appreciate that, right? Oh, that's off too. But yeah, like I genuinely appreciate that. Even that girl or that woman who said that my shit looks soulless, right? Like I was just drawing random shit. I'm sure she was saying that with the intent, and at least that's the way I'm gonna interpret it, because I don't care if it's true or not, right? I'm gonna interpret it to the benefit that I have, right? But I'm sure she said it in the vein that like, oh, I want to make sure this guy actually follows his art. And I actually one of them told me later, they're like we because they basically told me to fuck off because they're trying to do sales and shit. And I'm like, sorry, I didn't mean to get in the way of your business. And she's like, no, dude, like you're so passionate, like it would be disrespectful of us if we just kind of gave you like a half-assed answer, right? Like you're clearly like give a lot of shit about art, right? And I was like, yeah. And they're like, just keep going, keep fucking going. So the thing is, like, this is my mind, right? My mind probably is fixating on the things that threw me off and then interpreting it through a negative lens, which is like, oh, like they didn't seem to understand. Therefore, they're all giving me shit. It's like, no, they didn't understand, but they tried to understand at the end of the day. And even if they didn't understand, they literally just encouraged me to keep going, right? They literally just encouraged me to keep going. And it's wrong of me to assume that everybody's gonna have the same reaction or understand exactly what it is I'm trying to do. Because again, I'm trying to become the fucking GOAT. I'm trying to become a GOAT. I'm trying to become my version of a GOAT. I'm trying to become my Kim Jong-il, my Peter Han, right? My Elisa Ivanova, my Evan Amundsen, right? And the funny thing is, they've never heard of any of these artists that I mentioned. They've literally never heard of any of these artists that I mentioned, which I assume people who watch me have heard at least some of them. Some of them. Only person any of them knew was Kim Jong-il, right? And even one of them didn't know Kim Jong-il. There's this guy who had incredible pen and ink draftsmanship, right? And it was funny. He said there's one thing. He's like, don't listen to successful people. He's like, listen to the failures. He's like, people who are successful, they'll just tell you what they believe their story was and what worked for them, right? But because I was telling him like, oh, like Stephen Platt just told me to fuck off. Like, obviously I was joking about it, but he's like, this shit's ass. Fix this shit, right? And he just laughed. But he was just like, what's it called? He's like, people will tell you, like, he's like, don't listen to successes, listen to failures, right? Because they'll tell you exactly what worked and like what to avoid, and like as well as like their journey and like what they learned from it, right? He's like, successes will just tell you like the one thing that worked for them. And I'm like, you know what? Fair enough, right? But when I am successful, right, purely because I will be, right? Again, I'm gonna believe Colin's words, not mine, which is that he doesn't see a path where I don't make it in some regard, right? As long as I continue on this path, right? But either way, that aside, right? Fucking jerking off over how successful I'm gonna be aside, right? Like what I am planning to do. And by the way, while I'm done talking, again, extreme cognitive effort, making a lot of fucking mistakes, can barely see the fucking diagonal cross sections, constantly trying to lean into that, constantly trying to build that, constantly trying to build the muscle memory for that. All of them actually also explicitly stated that line mileage is the one thing you can never min-max, right? They're like, that's purely through time. So I want to, again, reiterate their words of, I'm reiterating essentially 140 years of experience to you right now, because I talked to 12 people, each of them, every single one of them had at least a decade of experience. So minimum like 120 years of experience I'm giving to you, which is line mileage is purely through time, which is fucking thousands of repetitions, hundreds of hours, and years and years and years and years and years. So if you ever feel as if your lines are shit, i.e. I feel like my lines are shit, right? Let it be known, like it's purely a matter of just constantly doing it. And everything they said, they literally were just, this one guy, I forget all their names. He was also a comic book artist, incredible artist. And he said, he's like, the only thing that made me get to the point I am right now is I never stopped, right? He's like, I never stopped, right? He's like, and that's the only thing that matters. He's like, where everybody else around me quit, he's like, I just didn't stop. He's like, I just kept going, right? He's like, and that is like just what kept compounding. I kept drawing, I kept being interested, I kept doing my best to learn and get better, right? And everybody gets there differently. Even the Johnny Ho, the animator, right? He used to be I think he said he used to be in illustration or something like that, but he's an animator now. But like even he was just like you're just supposed to keep going, right? He's like as long as you don't stop. He's like you just gain that experience, you know. You just gain the actually fuck. What was the point I'm trying to make there? I don't think that's what he was saying. But again, my mind is so distracted with not distracted. Clearly, it's very focused, but it's very distracted with being focused, if that makes sense, right? With thinking about these diagonal cross sections, and again, like my brain is genuinely fried. Oh yeah, but Johnny even said, he's like, why are you thinking so much? Why are you thinking so much? Like, this is too much thinking. Because he's like, you don't have to think about the entire diagonal cross section. Just think about the middle. Like, just think about this general middle zone. And I was just like, no. Like, I didn't say it that way. I'm like, is there anything wrong with just doing it purely because I want to? Like, I want to push myself to that degree. Like, I always try to see. I'm cheating right there. I'm cheating right there. That was beautiful. There you go. Because I curved it. I had to fix that. And he's like, no. And then he went on like his philosophical thing. He's like, but what are you doing it for, man? And I'm like, bro, I don't know, bro. I'm doing it for me, goddammit. I'm doing it for me. I'm doing it for you to prove that anybody can do it, right? Like it's simple as that. It's maybe a bit grand. It's maybe a bit self-aggrandizing, right? But genuinely, watch me become great, demystifying the process to greatness. It's as simple as fucking that, right? Not easy, because it's gonna take me fucking my entire life, but it's as simple as that, right? So I'm gonna rest my brain and I'm gonna keep talking about this experience. And I'm gonna keep fucking grinding my brain, right? So yeah, please rest your brain. All right, so again, I need to keep fucking trying. I need to keep trying. I need to keep grinding my brain because, again, like I am not currently capable of talking to the extent that I am right now while also thinking about the many things that I'm trying to think about. So again, just force myself to feel good, continuously making mistakes, right? And just doing my best, because I'm also begging for money, but just doing my best to see everything, see all the lines, hold all these items in my working memory, right? And if you're entertained by whatever the fuck I'm saying, I guess that's fine and all, but again, like obviously the whole demystification shit is important to a significant degree for me. And like I'm really struggling right now to see this back diagonal cross section accurately, because of course I have to think about the where this line actually ends, right? Where this plane, where this box, this back plane actually ends, right? But oh man, this is like beautifully difficult. It's genuinely beautifully difficult. And like I love drawing these narrow boxes, like these thin boxes, because it really forces me to think about these thin diagonal cross sections, right? Like it genuinely, and again, while I'm drawing this, I'm trying to think about the other ones as well. You see how off that beautiful line is, right? Look at that, like that's so off, right? And again, here I'm constantly doing it to make things more difficult for myself, right? But yeah, like that advice that I like in general, the feedback that I got was incredibly valuable. Like every single bit of it, right? Even the ones that aren't applicable right now, they were valuable. Like there's another guy who told me about shadow mapping. Essentially, he said like he just thinks in shadows, like graphic 2D shapes for his shadows, and he literally drew like a truck, right, or like a tank using only shadows, right? And he's like, and of course he's like, this is all based on the fact he's like, I see it right now based on it like intuition, but I did it for fucking thousands of fucking repetitions, of course, right? And he explicitly said, he's like, this is over hundreds of hours, right? If you ever need to fucking wonder, being like, oh, is it actually like over hundreds of hours? The answer is yes, minimum hundreds of hours, right? So I'm gonna draw the ellipse, only the ones that I can actually see properly, because I do want to draw more boxes and get more mileage in, of course, right? So I'm just trying to think right now. Let's see, trying to get this ellipse, trying to get the center lines, all that shit. And in one fell swoop is the goal, right? In one fell, and you can see where my lines suffered drastically. Look at that. This angle, my lines suffer so much in one fell swoop. And let's see. That's my cylinder right there. And I didn't even connect it properly, so you see this is going to be diverging. It's way out of perspective. Or converging too fast. It's way out of perspective. But that's the whole point, is like to keep training my brain to be less shit. Right, but yeah, like he showed the shadow mapping thing, and he was like, intuitively, that's what he thinks about, right? And that was really helpful, but I don't know how useful it is right now for me when it comes to thinking about this is actually pretty decent, thinking about the like composition shit, because like I'm barely able to think about form and all that stuff, right? So I don't know if I'm gonna be able to like currently I don't know if I'm gonna be able to think about like fucking shadows to that extent, right? But it was still very, very useful to have someone of his caliber break it down, right? And overall, like I guess I'm done talking about this. If I remember anything else, I'll continue. I'll just like bring up snippets here and there. This is obviously incredibly incorrect because I should have, let's see, it should have curved in like that. There you go, something like that. I think that's wrong, and there's something about it that's wrong, and I'm trying to see what's wrong about it. But anyways, let's draw more boxes, right? It's been half an hour. We got not speed run, but I got to keep visualizing, keep calculating. But yeah, overall, fucking TLDR, right? Incredible experience about Fan Expo. The main takeaway was how I can improve my drawings from imagination, which is you practice doing the thumbnails that Stephen Platt recommended, as well as like what many artists recommended, like follow your interests, draw what you're interested in, just go off on that and like those two things will obviously help because Stephen Platt's advice will help me keep the like actually start doing the being able to visualize the perspective grid by actually drawing it and being able to ground everything, because right now it's like shit's floating everywhere. It has no, like, the depth isn't there. I'm like, wonderful, thank you for the advice, right? And then obviously utilizing my creativity, or not my creativity, improving my creativity and like the storytelling or whatever is what they said is like have an idea beforehand. If you don't, like follow your interests. So that I'm gonna really try to lean into that. These are skills, right? So that's regarding like the main thing that I wanted to like mainly get advice from, which was like the drawings from imagination or just ideation for designs in general, right? Which is really helpful. And then the other thing is the takeaway is that like no matter, like everybody's filtering their own advice through their own experience and their own profession, right? And what they're all thinking that, oh, this guy wants to be a comic book artist, or this guy wants to be a fucking illustrator, or this guy wants to be a mangaka, which is all not wrong, right? Technically that is, I want to be everything. But and some of them said that you can't be everything, right? And I'm just thinking like, says who? says fucking who, right? You've done it, why can't I do it, right? And some of them even said like, oh, they even fucking spread that rhetoric where it's like, oh, like if they can do it, I can do it, right? And I'm like, cool, like I completely agree. So I think what they meant is like you can't do everything in the industry, and that's what they're filtering it through. Like you can't be a prop artist, and you can't also be an illustrator, and you can't do this. But for me, I'm like, bro, I'm just trying to be the best. Again, they couldn't understand that I'm just trying to be the best draftsman that I can. I'm doing this as a serious hobby, right, over an extended time horizon. Many of them did understand that. Actually, oh shit, now that I see this box is pretty fucking off when I look at it through here, like backwards. That's actually pretty fucking off. Holy shit, like this box. That's insane how I can see that now. There's so much to work on. It's amazing, right? And even some of them were like, yeah, you can't learn everything. It's like there's so much. They're like, just take it one step at a time. Right? And again, that's why Stephen Platt was like, bro, we have decades. Like you have to remember, we literally have decades of industry experience and just learning experience in general, right? That's like it's just one of those things where you can't, you just have to put the work in. You can't force it into existence, right? Like you genuinely can't force these things into existence, because that is it's like you're trying to force reality to come to you faster, right? And you can technically force it to come to you faster technically by simply doing the work, right? Like, so you can't just mentally masturbate over this and be like, yes, I'm gonna be the GOAT, right? Which is why I'm trying so fucking hard to see the diagonal cross sections and all the invisible planes and all that shit. But more than anything, what I like, the takeaway is the fact that like people don't understand, even people who you look up to, right? Like when you're trying to do something that they don't see done before, right? And by the way, I think what I'm doing has been done hundreds of fucking thousands of times before, right? Right? But I think just in terms of like, what's it called? Like in the, like there's the type of person who pulls up and they're just like, oh yeah, I just want, it's like, imagine you're a fucking, it's like if somebody came to me and, actually, I don't even know, because this is just the type of person I am, so it makes complete sense to me to want to do something for the pure love of becoming excellent, right? But I guess most people need a reason to be excellent. For me, my reason is the excellence itself, but that's because I've trained my brain. Oh, that was a beautiful mistake. I've trained my brain into making the process of becoming, right? The process of becoming the goal in of itself. And I talk about that all the time. Like, it's who you become. So I have more clearly understood than ever that even industry professionals who and again, I'm trying to think about the horizon line. This is so fucking difficult. But even industry professionals who, and I'm trying to zoom out and I'll look at the line, right? But even industry, like I'm really struggling here, but even industry professionals, right, who are very encouraging and very supportive, right? But they're all filtering it through the lens of what the fuck are you doing this for? Like, what is your why? Like, what's your reason? Because I think with how intensely I practice, and some of them, I guess, like insinuated this. They're like, they thought I was gonna burn out. But how can I burn out when the effort in and of itself is the reward, right? And obviously, I can't give them fucking 500 videos of me just talking about the same shit to be like, oh, like this is this guy's mindset. But they could tell that from my work ethic, and they could see that this is what I'm working towards, right? And I'm really trying to see all the diagonal cross sections right now. It's actually like kind of there, which is pretty cool. But obviously it's only there after I fucking drew it all, right? I'm trying to visualize it while drawing it. But it was overall a very positive experience, and I would 100% go again. But I'm probably not gonna go. Oh, that was fucking so off. That was beautiful. See, I make this mistake all the time, right? And that means I have to do that again, right? And this is obviously like they're not proportionally accurate, but like I'm not gonna go next year probably because I think for the time being I've gotten all the feedback I need. Oh, and obviously this is off because I didn't make it a perfect plane. So I see I forgot that. I literally forgot to make it a perfect plane, right? Like I literally forgot to make it a perfect plane. But let's see. Trying to think about the diagonal cross sections. I'm really trying to see through this to the best of my ability, right? And I'm not trying to look at the line while I do this as well. And that's something I gotta keep practicing. Again, I'm attaching dopamine to all the errors that I'm making, right? Because I'm making dozens of errors when it comes to the line, the application, the visualization, the perspective, everything. Like I am genuinely fucking everything up, and it's incredible because I can barely see the diagonal cross sections. But yeah, like I think I've gotten all the advice I need for the time being, and this isn't. I'm not trying to be arrogant or prideful, be like, oh, I've gotten all the advice, I'm good. It's just like no, like I think genuinely I've gotten the advice all I need for the things I need to work on, right? And I feel as if it would be redundant to constantly keep asking for advice on things that I've gotten feedback on, right? Constantly asking for feedback on things that have already been established to be like, hey, use your interest. This is how you can improve your depth. Like line weight, like don't forget this. Like try to have some sort of story. Like cool. Like you gave me the information. My only job is to do it 100,000 times, right? Like that's it. Like that's all I have to do. So it would be disrespectful to you actually if I, at least that's my opinion. The way I see it is like it would be disrespectful to pull up and just keep fucking being like, but wait, can you tell it to me in a different way? Right? It's like shut the fuck up and do the fucking work. Shut the fuck up. Right? So again, I'm really trying to visualize. I'm genuinely trying to visualize, and I've had a very difficult time visualizing for like the last month, and this may be an indicator that my brain is just, this is most likely an indicator, right, from what I know about neuroscience, is like, this is most likely an indicator that my brain is just trying to consolidate the schema, right? It's like really genuinely working fucking hardcore in the background to do so. That was a beautiful mistake, right? Attach dopamine to that. Try to see all the diagonal cross sections, right? Trying to really see all the diagonal cross sections and invisible planes, right? And it's incredibly difficult. And again, like the more this box gets filled, the more I can see it. Of course, the more this box gets filled, the more I can see it. But until then, it's just barely there. It's just barely fucking there, and that is fine. That's exactly what I want, right? And this is, of course, and that's why like I love that I'm drawing ellipses inside this, because it's really helping me visualize exactly what I'm missing in terms of, and see that curve was a poor line. But it's really helping me visualize and understand. And again, I'm not looking, that was a beautiful mistake. I'm not looking at the mark that I'm making, right? I'm looking at the overall picture, right? I'm looking at the overall like diagonal cross section and the plane and all that shit. I'm trying to see all of that while I make the mark, right? So let's try one more. And then because I do my 5, and then I'll rest my brain, and then I'll do I'll draw through it, right? I'll do all the diagonal cross section. I'll do the ellipses, all that stuff. But let's do one more in an orientation that is difficult. Let's do something like this, right? This is always a difficult angle, and I jizz over difficult angles, right? But I'm trying to see everything in my mind's eye, right? And yeah, like dude, it was overall, like I have nothing negative to say. I honestly think I just needed this specific session to talk it out through myself, which is they all were very supportive. They all gave me great feedback, and they also all filtered everything they were saying through the industry and the experience and the lens that they were in, right? Which means that let's just say half wasn't applicable, half wasn't relevant to my current situation, like to my current skill level, and then the 20% of the patterns that I saw recurring are the ones that I'm gonna fucking drill the absolute shit out of. And again, right here, like I couldn't see anything because I was so focused on that line, right? And that was a beautiful, beautiful mistake, right? So now I'm back to thinking about the seen through box, the diagonal cross sections to the best of my ability, trying to zoom out, trying to see everything while I zoom out, right? Trying to hold my pen lightly as best as I can. Oh my god, I couldn't see anything there. I genuinely couldn't see anything there. But I was trying so hard. And I who knows if I got far. But I was definitely, and this angle, this is like the bane of my existence. And this is exactly why I'm going to practice this angle because this right here, and I'm trying to see through the fucking box and all the diagonal cross sections. Like, this is exactly what I need. And there you go. That was pretty subpar ellipse, right? And I was trying to do that while even holding a semblance of a diagonal cross section. So again, I don't think I think my brain has not been worked to the extent that I want to work it, but I'm gonna keep trying because it's so hard to talk while doing this. But I am actively gonna keep pushing my fucking brain. So let me rest my brain and again, voice crack. Oh, again. And again, these last 15 minutes, I will fucking kill my brain, do my best, right? As always. So please, rest your brain. And when I say kill my brain, I don't mean in a negative way. Let's just say I will try to exert as much cognitive friction as possible and experience as much discomfort as I can in order to stimulate neuroplasticity and learning. There you go. Is that more autistic? Is that better? All right, cool. Let's keep going. And another thing is like what I noticed is the fact that what's it called? Like the skills I'm building right now, some of them could tell it's gonna compound, and others were confused as to why I was going to that extent. I think I said this before, but like they were genuinely like Johnny Ho was like, "Why the fuck you think it so much, bro? Like this is so intense," and I'm just like, "This is again literally what I love to do, right?" But the more and oh, that line is diverging. But the thing I respected and I appreciated the most is the fact that no matter whether they understood or not, no matter what, they could all see, they all appreciated the effort, and they all wanted me to succeed, right? And they all defined success for me in different ways, of course. So there's that whole thing. It's like you have to define success for you, right? Like you have to define what success looks like for you. And there's no point trying to convince others what that success looks like for you. I was just trying to explain. I simply just explained who I was, why I was doing it, and more than anything, I want to hear their stories. I fucked up a little bit because I didn't get to hear every single one of their stories because after a certain point I got into like feedback mode. So I just went around being like, this is what I'm doing, please give me feedback. But again, that's very selfish. That's selfish. Like you shouldn't just take. We should all give, right? We should give abundantly. We should give with as much as we can, right? And I need to work on that. I need to figure out ways that I can just give to the people around me. I feel as if that's a life worth living. This is one way of me doing that, right? I'm giving you my entire life's worth of skill acquisition in a skill that many believe is beyond their reach. This is one way that I believe I can give without any sort of expectation. Like I know I say, please give me money and all that shit, but I genuinely don't care if I make money or not from this, right? And yeah, like, okay, let's be honest. I care about making money from this in the sense that, like, it would be cool. It would actually be sick, right? And I'll fucking keep memeing and shilling and be like, give me the money, give me the money, give me the money, right? But at the same time, why do you think the main thing I always say isn't, oh, like, I want to make money from this, right? Like, that's my little outro, whatever. Why do you think the main thing I always say is, as always, fuck you for watching, keep drawing. And then, please, give me money, right? But it's keep drawing, right? Keep drawing. And more than anything, right, what do I always say? This channel is to prove that, or what have I been consistently always saying as of late, is like this channel is to prove that anybody, especially you, can learn to draw. Like, I'm here to, like, watch me become great, but also here's irrefutable video proof that any single one of you can become great, right? So I'm just trying to live that to the utmost, and I'm trying to give you guys everything in terms of what you need. Now it's up to you. Now it's up to you to believe in yourself, whether you can do it or not, right? Like and belief is 90% of it, you know, because when you believe in yourself, that was a beautiful mistake. When you believe in yourself, that is when you actively start to change, right? Because if I didn't believe in this journey that I'm making, if I didn't have such a strong vision of seeing an incredible draftsman, but it's less about the draftsman, more about seeing this person who built incredible resilience, work ethic, and perseverance towards becoming the draftsman that he could, and the effort that he put in towards becoming the draftsman that he could, given the time that he put towards it and the effort that he put towards it, i.e., I don't deserve anything more or less than what I've already done to achieve it, right? Like, I have no hangups about that, right? Like, if I didn't have such a strong vision towards becoming that person, the process of becoming who we become, right, then yeah, I wouldn't be able to do this. And that's again what a lot of these artists, they had their own reasons, right? But they were projecting, I guess this is not like a negative way of projecting, this was just objectively a projection. It's like they were projecting what they believed to be my reason, or what they thought a reason would be for me, which is why it was just like a back and forth sometimes, where like, what are you doing this for? I'm like, I'm doing it because I love it, and I'm doing it because I want to be an excellent draftsman. They're like, yeah, but what are you doing it for? And I'm like, what the fuck? I just told you. Right? But it's about me and the more I understood that, the more I ended up talking to them and telling them, like, this is what you're filtering to, and this is what I'm doing, and they're like, yeah, that makes sense. And that's why, like, the later conversations were all about just encouraging me, giving me advice. And again, like, I think no matter what, every single one of them just wanted me to succeed, right? If I'm gonna be talking about me, all selfish like that, right? Like, I think genuinely they just, and again, I'm struggling to see all the diagonal cross sections right now while I'm talking, but I think genuinely every single one of them just, and to calculate it, right, and hold it all in my mind, but I think genuinely every single one of them just, oof, that was a beautiful mistake, right, just attaching dopamine. I think genuinely every single one of them just wanted to see me succeed, right? So in the same vein, right now, I won't matter, right? And I said this to some of them when I talked about my YouTube channel, right? Oof, that's also a beautiful mistake. Right now, I won't matter. I am utter dog shit, or I'm mid. Like, nothing I have is worthwhile, but given enough time, effort, and a decade of endurance, it is inevitable that my archive will build the video proof required to prove something that is very important to me, that anyone can draw. Because I genuinely believe that art was a talent, right? And I also genuinely believe you're a fucking idiot if you believe art is a talent. Therefore, I was a fucking idiot, right? So it's and again, like, all the artists I spoke to, every single one of them, here's a big thing. Actually, I should have started off with this for you cocksuckers. Every single one of these incredible artists simply believed in work ethic and time. Every single fucking one of them. Okay, that's 12 extremely skilled artists, and we all know I have the best taste, so we know these are all legit. But like, that's 12 extremely skilled industry professionals who are veterans and have been in there for 10, 15, 20 years, right? Every single fucking one of them, right, believed in work ethic and endurance, and simply, like, perseverance, and just believing and just continuing to continue, right? And that, if that doesn't tell you anything, because every single one of them kept saying, it's just time and repetitions, it's just years and years and stacking the years and never giving up. Like, if that doesn't tell you that if they can do it, I can do it, and they all vehemently believe that this is the one singular truth for if success is your goal, right? The outcome, if you're so outcome focused, right? Then yeah, like, that's what it is. But I even talked about that shit with one of them, and I had this wonderful conversation. Again, I can't fucking remember his name, right? But he's like heavily inspired by Frazetta. You know, his dad was also like an artist, so it's pretty cool. But like he said, he's just like, it's just continuing, like, it's just stacking the reps, you know, and just like trying and like not giving up, right? And that, and my brain is like fucking dying here, bro. But that to me is fucking amazing. And again, like, I'm really trying to see everything right now, but that to me is fucking amazing. Right? I'm trying to see the horizon line too, right? But that to me is like amazing. Fucking the fact that he, like, every single one of them, not once did I hear that you don't have the talent for it. Every single one of them would just said, even like Stephen Platt, he's like, you're behind, right? He's like, you are behind, because his thing was like, this guy's trying to be an industry professional. He's like, you got a late start, right? He didn't say you're behind. He said you got a late start, right? But even then, every single one of them were just like, okay, they were just trying to encourage me to keep going, because they believed in the fact that continuing to continue was the only thing that mattered, right? And I'm just constantly also, by the way, attached dopamine to the errors that I'm catching, which is the fact that I'm not able to consistently see every single diagonal cross section. So I'm trying my best to see them while I'm talking, while also calculating, while also making these lines, while also visualizing. But because I currently can't, I am really, oh fuck, that feels so good. Like, I'm fucking just attaching dopamine to the fact that I'm noticing every time that I can't, and I'm also attaching dopamine to the fact that every time I make these incorrect calculations, right? And I'm actively trying to fix them, of course, right? I'm actively trying to fix my lines being accurate and being correct, and I'm not basing it purely off of intuition. There's calculation occurring. That was wrong as well. But and that's what I'm doing right now, just so you know, right? It's like, I'm not just half-assedly trying to draw this. I'm genuinely trying to visualize all of this. But yeah, every single fucking one of them that I talked to were just like, endurance game, longevity game, keep fucking going, never give up, right? So for all you dipshits who are like, and the advice was always just do more, all right? Like every single advice boiled down to what I always say, which is just, and again, not to say, and again, my advice is not my advice, it's the advice of people a million times better than me, but every single piece of advice just boiled down to do more, right? Do more, do more, do more with intent, do more. Like that was literally the advice. And what the fuck else do you need? Like it's just do it with intent. Do more with intent. Do more with intent, right? And there's nothing else to be said there apart from that. And again, I'm trying to visualize everything right now. And of course this is wrong. Like this is absolutely wrong. But at least it's wrong. But at least it's wrong and correct, right? And I know like Stephen Platt even said like there's just like completely unrelated. He was just like, yeah, we make mistakes. Like you just can't see my mistakes, right? He's like, we make mistakes all the fucking time. He's like, you just get to the point where nobody can notice them except you. And I'm like, yep, that was a beautiful mistake right there. Like, and but I'm at a point where you can 100% notice my mistakes. Look how much that's diverging. Look how much that's diverging, right? But like it was just a great experience. And the more I think about it, the more I really, really, really appreciate every single one of them, right? And like the advice that they gave and the feedback that they gave, because artists genuinely, I think anybody who's experienced any sort of skill or like what's it called, endeavor, struggle to get good at a skill, like they just want others to also A, succeed, B, avoid pitfalls. So when I think about it through that lens, like they just wanted me to avoid whatever pitfalls that they must have experienced, right? Because and they said they could see the passion, but it doesn't matter about whether I was passionate or not. All that matters is like I came, I saw, I conquered, and then I coomed, right? I think I have a thumbnail like that. But anyways, fucking shit jokes aside, right? And again, like I'm really trying to make this ellipse decent. That was actually pretty good. That was genuinely actually pretty good. That ellipse right there. It wasn't perfect, but it's definitely a wider angle. It's definitely a wider degree. Not an angle, wider degree. I'm gonna rest my brain. I've been fucking talking up a storm, and I've genuinely been trying, but like I'm gonna do a couple more boxes because fuck it, like I don't care about doing the 5 perfectly every session, right? But I'm gonna rest my brain, go for like another 10 minutes, and then we'll call it there. Yeah, but please rest your brain as well. Oh, I completely forgot because I've been going all over the place in terms of my tangents. But one of the guys I talked to, right, who said like, oh, don't listen to people's successes, like listen to people who failed, right? And I thought that was very unique and interesting advice, right? And funny enough, he's successful, so I don't know if I should listen to him. No, either way. He was an incredible pen and ink draftsman, right? Incredible pen and ink artist. Like think of like the line work like that you see, right? Like really, really fucking like using lines to show the interplay of light and shadow, right? But he had no idea who fucking Arthur Guptill was. He had no idea who Bernie Wrightson was, right? He had no idea who Heinrich Clay was. Like he had, and I'm like, and it was, and I told him about the book Rendering in Pen and Ink by Arthur Guptill, right? And I'm like, check it out, bro, because like you have literally done this. Like this is what your style is. Like this is how you're using lines and pen. But you have like he hadn't heard of any of them, so all it did was prove to me is that like Johnny Ho said, right, the animator, like he said, is like there's no correct path. There are correct things to focus on, but the path in which you discover the ability to apply these foundational skills to your own expression, i.e., your style, which is decision making, right? Like it's purely, completely has fucking hundreds of fucking different avenues, if not thousands, right? Like this guy had not heard of any prolific pen and ink artists that I knew of, and from what I know of them, like, and that they're pretty fucking prolific, right? Like they're pretty notable, but he hadn't heard of any of them, and he was like, what? And he was like writing all this down. He's like, this is incredible. He's like, Kim Jong-il, who the fuck is this? And I was like, yo, that's amazing. That's actually amazing. So yeah, it was just so cool. It was just like I even laughed. I'm just like, it's amazing how you can get to art in any single, in like literally any single way, right? So that was something that I was that was just something I wanted to share. Like, because again, like I don't get to talk about art with literally, and I mean in rituary, right? Anybody, like nobody in my life gives a shit about art, right? Nobody. And you might have the exact same experience. How many people in your life actually give a fuck about drawing, right? Actually give a fuck about drawing, but give a fuck about draftsmanship. Actually give a fuck about draftsmanship, but also pen and ink draftsmanship, right? Like it's just it just doesn't exist, not in my life. Anyway, like, and my brain is actually at the tail end of its efforts right now because I can barely visualize the diagonal cross section, let alone the scene through box. Sorry, barely visualize the scene through box, let alone the diagonal cross sections. And like my lines, you can see, are suffering. But I'm trying. So I'm not looking at the line right now. By the way, I'm not looking at the mark that I'm making. I'm purely focused on just trying to get the diagonal cross sections to be visualized. And I couldn't. I genuinely can't do it right now. And this ellipse suffered because of that. Because I didn't bring it up high enough, right? So that's like an extreme convergence happening here, but it's not happening there, therefore this box is incorrect, right? But either way, we're gonna draw the ellipse. I'm gonna try to visualize everything while I draw the ellipse, or I try to constantly, and I'm just forcing myself to feel good. I'm just constantly forcing myself to feel good while I notice that I cannot visualize anything, right? And that's an okay ellipse. It's nothing perfect, but that's an okay ellipse. And again, try to proportionally rotate this into a different angle, right? And we'll do something like this now. Rotate it this way. Again, try to keep the proportions the same. And while I do this, once again, I'm going to consistently try to visualize the box and all. And this is like genuine effort. It's like I'm struggling so much to visualize everything while I apply these lines, but this is beautiful because I can't see through the box. I can't see anything, and yet I am trying so fucking hard. Like this little pause that you see me do here is just me trying to reorient myself while I also try to visualize everything that I possibly can. And see those lines, that is a bad line, right? That is too thick. And I'm struggling so much to see the diagonal cross sections. And this is the cognitive friction I need. Like this is the cognitive friction I need. And like I don't know if I experienced this much during this session, but this is what I'm always trying to chase, right? Is just this effort and this constant failure of application of effort, right? And that is the goal, right? Like the discomfort and the failure is the goal. And of course, this is proportionally incorrect, right? This is too long. This plane is smaller than this plane, but this is too long, right? So again, like I'm trying to see this, I'm trying to see every single diagonal cross section while I do this, right? And already like it's converging drastically, the bottom plane. Like it's like it's like this. It's like it's converging. It's basically a fucking triangle, right? So I'm trying to constantly keep that in mind. I'm trying to hold all the diagonal cross sections in my mind, see this wireframe, and then get this. Oh, there you go. That's a mistake. But get this ellipse because it's not touching the edge. Get this ellipse in there. Okay, beautiful fucking mistake. And let's just draw it here as well, because this will force me to actually see see through the form and see through the box while not drawing it as well. Like, well, not actually drawing like the see-through box. That's incorrect. I'll do it again here, right? I try to hold it all in my mind, and you'll see, like, again, how my lines suffer. That's also beautifully incorrect, right? And it's got to keep going. It's got to keep going. I mean, again, I do my best not to listen to myself. I do my best to listen to those who I respect, look up to, find their art to be incredible, right? And again, not all advice will ever be applicable to every single context, or even just to you in the given moment. But I got two main incredible, useful, actionable steps, which is let your interest guide you. Okay, like with imagination drawings, right? Your depth is shit. Do these thumbnail practices, literally two rectangles, draw the grid, draw the horizon line, draw the grid, or like draw the perspective lines at X, Y, Z, and then place things in them that look realistic. Wonderful, right? I'm gonna do like fucking 800 of those, 1,000 of those, it doesn't matter, over the next 10 years, right? And then probably like every 1 in 50, I'll do like imagination drawing, right? And then the second step was like, let your interest guide you. Let your interest guide you. Let your interest guide you. So like, just think about what you like. Think about what you want to see. Think about like, and that will naturally help ideas flow. That's a skill in and of itself. These are all skills. So those are the two actionable steps. Other things like, why are you doing it? What's your purpose? All that shit. I know my purpose, right? And I was just getting tripped up that I was getting asked that so many times. But personally, the way I perceive it is like, this guy's not a beginner anymore. He has intermediate skills. He's clearly going somewhere. They're trying to figure out why the fuck where are you going, right? Where can we help guide you? Maybe this was a way for them to try to figure out what type of feedback to give me, right? And they were getting tripped up, and I'm like, I'm doing it for the love of the game. I'm doing it because I love it. I'm doing it because I love spatial reasoning. And they're just like, but what the fuck? Like, are you trying to be a professional? Are you trying to do this? Are you trying to do that? And for them, it was just hard to fathom that I'm literally trying to be the GOAT, right? My version of the GOAT, my GOAT, right? Me, like whatever GOAT I can be, the greatest of all time that I can be for myself, with no qualms about where I am at the end of it all, right? Because it's about who I become, and it's purely reflective of the type of effort I put in, the duration of the effort I put in, the intensity of the effort I put in, and how long I put that effort in for, which is the duration. So kind of fucking redundant, right? Like it's as simple as that. I shouldn't be anywhere except where I am right now. So I know objectively, like, because I was talking so much this session, right? I struggled a lot to hold that, like, the diagonal cross sections and everything. Like, I genuinely struggled there, but at the same time, I still put in as much effort as I could, given the fact that I was talking about a bunch of shit and trying to hold everything in my mind. And I did make progress. Like, my ellipses have already gotten better. My large ellipses, 100% have already gotten better, just from constantly trying to visualize this and hold it in my mind. So interleaving, recall, it all works, bro. It all fucking works. And with that times 3 speed speech being said, as always, I hope you fucking did your best. I hope you tried. And just, yeah, rest your brain after this. Rest your brain after this. And with that being said, as always, fuck you for watching. Keep drawing. And please, give me money.